cannot wait to get to present our stories to you guys, along with some of my most beautiful, wonderful friends. Guys, these are the most high respected women in our company, and I am just honored to get to be here tonight with you. We don't want to take up a lot of your time, but we want to inspire you and fill your cup tonight. So my name is Lane Loftus. I'm a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus, and I'm going to start with telling my story really quick. It happened 4.5 years ago whenever I finally decided to try the pink drink that I had been rolling my eyes at for probably about 8 months. We had just brought my son home from the hospital. He was our rainbow baby. So much to be joyful about, right? We had 2 children, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And guys, we were told we wouldn't be able to have kids. So, oh my goodness, living the dream life, everything I had ever wanted. And I was a flipping mess. I was crying every day. I was not known to ever cry. I was tough. I was an emotional wreck. My hormones were out of balance. And looking back, it makes a lot of sense. We had been through some family trauma. Then we had a miscarriage. Then, pregnancy alone wrecks your hormones. And it all had just come crashing down. I had a lot of pride. I had a lot of embarrassment and a lot of shame with those tears, guys. So I didn't tell anybody. I was so embarrassed. I felt guilty to God that he had given me everything that I ever wanted. And I was sad. How could I even be sad? I would just wet Chasen's hair with tears every time I would nurse him, every 2 to 3 hours. And it sucked because I had been able to control everything in my life up to that point. And as women like control. I'll just speak for myself, but I like to control things and I couldn't control it. But I did not want to tell anybody. The day that everything changed, though, is whenever I was just having a normal mom day. I was going to take all the kids to the library. I had it perfectly in my head. It was going to be like just a Mary Poppins day. And it went to crap in like a second. I don't even remember what it was that set me off, but the sound that came out of my mouth was not me. It was rage. It was anger. It was like a psycho voice, horrible person. And Grady, he was my 4-year-old at the time, just looked at me. And whenever I couldn't get pregnant, I had promised God. I was like, I'll be the best mom in the world. I'll never yell at my kids. And like in that moment, I realized, I'm turning into something I wasn't called to be. And he looked at me like, who are you? And I thought, I don't know, but I promise you're worth the change. I'm changing it right now. And so that night, I messaged the girl I had been rolling my eyes at that had been posting about Plexus, and she got some Plexus in my hands. And I was a closet drinker. I had no intentions of anyone ever knowing. I just couldn't believe I was doing this. But my kids were worth it. Guys, I was called to be a mom. I was not called to be a fence sitter mom. I was called to be fun and crazy and epic. And like, that's who I'm supposed to be. And I wasn't okay with being anything under what God had called me to be. Like, I drew the line. So closet drinking Plexus. 2 weeks later, guys, I don't even know how to explain it other than like I was finally walking in who I was again. Michael came home one day and I was running around the yard with a tutu on my head. That's who I am. That's who I've been my whole life, just a nut, just crazy and fun and energetic. And little things had happened. Like I wasn't napping with the kids every day. And I would eat in the middle of the night. I promise you, this is zero exaggeration. Every 2 hours I nursed in the night. I would get up. I would nurse, I would walk to the freezer, eat a Dove candy bar, chug a glass of milk, go to bed and do it 2 hours later. I have no idea why I did that. I don't know if it was emotional eating, but I wasn't doing that anymore, which was fantastic. And I was just myself. I was just myself again. I was laughing again. And Michael noticed it. And I knew that it was helping me. And I naturally share about things that I love. I share about Jesus. I share about family. I share about mom life, all of it. And it was an absolute 100% conviction on my heart that I knew I was supposed to share. I knew I was supposed to make a post. It made me nervous. It felt, it felt nerve-wracking because judgment could have came with that. 4.5 years later, guys, that's what I've been doing for 4.5 years. And because I chose to share and keep sharing about Plexus, I don't even know how many people on our team. There's so many beautiful families on our team that have been blessed by Plexus. And we're running for the biggest rank in the company this month, Diamond. How cool is that? Just for sharing about something that blessed me, just for truly listening to God's call in my life. It's amazing. My husband had a full-time job. He was gone away from us all the time as an insurance broker. Not anymore. He came home. He gets to be passionate. We have a YouTube channel that he directs. We are full-time travelers. All of this because I said yes to Plexus. I hope that if nothing else happens tonight, that you feel inspired, that whatever God is tugging at your heart, you say yes to it. Because there's not just a blessing for you. It's not just about you. There's a blessing for somebody else on the other side of your yes to Jesus. And I just pray that you feel that inspiration tonight after listening to this. Really quick, I want to tell you, we have giveaways. We have lots of giveaways, cash giveaways. Each of us are going to be doing a giveaway on our team pages. So I want you to share with the person who invited you your biggest takeaway from this night. Have a conversation with them. Let them know what you took away from it, and they will enter you into the drawing for the cash giveaways, okay? Thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to turn it over to the next pretty mama.
It's me, Lane. By the way, I have a feeling all of us are going to have that same, like, I was judgy, I watched it, I entered, because I feel like that's just the normal flow of this thing, because we just see it as so scary. But y'all, I hope this takes the scary out, because this is not scary. My name is Jordan. I'm a soon-to-be Sapphire Ambassador, which is the second to the highest at the end of this month. I'm so excited. Y'all, I watched my friend for about 2 years, and I always like to say I was super judgy, because I was super judgy. I watched this thing. I watched my friends be sparkly and bubbly, and it was like, that is not real. Like, I literally remember telling my husband, this is not real. There's no way they actually have that much energy. There is no way they actually like that pink drink that much. There is no way. But what my friend and my sponsor now, Cassandra, didn't know is that I was on the struggle bus big time. I didn't talk openly about my gut issues. I mean, who wants to talk about poop on their Facebook wall? I did not. That was not me. I wasn't that person. But I wasn't going to the bathroom, and it got so bad that I actually looked like I was like 6 months pregnant at one point. I hadn't gone in about a week, and I didn't know that you should be going 1 to 3 times a day. But I hadn't done that since I was like elementary school. And so finally I got to a point, I actually went to the ER, and I thought something was like bursting, like something was really wrong. Like, and I got there, and they said, Jordan, you have gas and you need to go to the bathroom. And it was a really, really expensive bill for someone to tell me that I needed to get my gut right. And I'd been watching my friend. I was really annoyed by the whole thing, but I was just so desperate to feel better. And I had tried everything. And so I finally said, give me what you got. I'm probably going to return it, but give me what you got. And so she handed me this thing called Triplex and said, give me 60 days. Y'all, within 1 week, after taking, it's less than $4 a day, I was going to the bathroom every single day. And that hadn't happened ever. And then all of a sudden I was like noticing I wasn't going to my car and napping on my lunch breaks, which also hadn't happened in a really long time. And then I was dating my husband at night instead of crashing at 8:30. And my husband, I will never forget him being like, Jordan, I think I have my wife back, and this is pretty cool. And so after about a year of being on these products, I had my second baby. If anybody has had a kid, you know, afterwards, like, that pull to have to go back to work was really, really hard. It was way harder after my second baby. And so after Andy, I was like, okay, listen, all my people above me, all my sponsors, they all make literally millions a year. I was like, why can't I do that? Why can't I learn from them and do what they do? And so that was my 3-year anniversary of starting the business will be next month. And y'all, it's been worth every single second. Every second. I am better. Our family is better. We just bought our dream house this month. I mean, I feel so blessed by the whole thing, all because I gave into that thing I was so judgy about. So next up, Emily gets to share her story.
Hi, you guys. My name is Emily Burgess, and I am so excited to be here with some of my, seriously, like my sisters, some of my best friends, people that I have grown with for years and years and cried with for years and years. And it is so fun to be able to link arms and share about things that have helped us, that are also helping so many others. So I mean, it's just so funny. I feel like I love my story because I feel like it's something that's relatable because I hated plexus. I did. I had probably 40 to 50 different people messaging me, asking me to do plexus with them. And I ignored almost every single one of them. I rolled my eyes. I wanted nothing to do with them. A friend of mine actually even sent me 3 sticks of the beloved pink drink, the Slim. I threw them in the trash because I thought that they were probably full of chemicals. And I saw that some of my friends were losing weight. So I knew that it must be some nasty weight loss fad diet. And I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But it was really funny because I'm sitting there like chugging like my coffee with like this much of creamer and this much of coffee, you know, or like my handfuls of chocolate chips or my handfuls of goldfish, just sitting there like, oh yeah, I know what it takes to lose weight. And this is not what it is with what they're doing. But then I'm sitting there watching for 3.5 years, and not intentionally. Like, I didn't want to do plexus. I wanted nothing to do with it. But as I'm on social media, like you all are, we all are, you can't help but see when people are sharing things. And so I started to see that these people, and they weren't just strangers or people I didn't know. They were people that I'd gone to college with, people that I loved and trusted. And they were starting to share about more than weight loss. Like, they were talking about how their aches and their pains were starting to be relieved, that their headaches were not as frequent as they used to be, that their immune systems were stronger, that their stomach issues were better. And I was just like, wait, what the heck? Like, how can this one little thing help this array of health issues? And then I started to see that these people were sharing about how it was really focusing on the 4 key pillars of our health with gut health. And I had never known anything about gut health. I just was always annoyed with the word. Like, that's a gross sounding word. Like, can't we use a different word than gut health? Like, that's weird. But I started to see like there were so many connections with gut health. And so that's what a big portion of the Plexus products were focused on: gut health, inflammation, nutrient absorption, glucose regulating. And I was seeing that they were plant-based and that they were natural, and surprised they were not full of artificial junk. I was also seeing that friends of mine that I'd gone to college with, who are nurses and pharmacists and even doctors, were sharing about the products and that they were really actually good for you. None of my friends were growing third eyes. They were getting healthier, and they were also helping other people get healthier. They were changing things for their family financially. And my husband and I, so here's the thing. My husband and I both worked for nonprofit ministries. They're amazing, amazing organizations to work for. We love the Lord. We love what we get to do, but we were so tight financially. And y'all, I am not a fancy person. I shop at thrift stores. I shop at yard sales. Like, I want nothing to do with fancy, but even in that lifestyle, we were so tight. Like, at the end of the month, going to the grocery store, I would just be sweating. I would be so nervous and like look for the line that didn't have anybody behind me because I didn't want my card to come up that I had like no money. It was a very stressful thing. And so I saw that these friends were changing things for their family. And so here's the thing. In October of 2016, I will never forget the day. Like, they always say, like in a movie, like that moment when like the people like make eye contact, it like changes after that moment. Like that is my movie. Like, that's my moment. Was October of 2016. I literally dominated 2 huge bowls of sugary cereal. And then I finished that breakfast off with a Reese's peanut butter pumpkin. And I will not forget going into my bathroom and looking in the mirror. And I've said this before, but I was wearing Holy jeans, and I kid you not, my thighs were busting out of my Holy jeans, my Rue 21 Holy jeans, like a busted can of biscuits. My belly was so bloated. My hair was like this. And I just remember looking in the mirror like, you have no control. You have lost all control. You do not take time for yourself. You don't fit into your clothes. You have these insecurities that are spilling over into your beautiful, precious daughters. Like it was a wake-up call for me. So I got in touch with that girl who had sent me those sticks of Slim that I'd thrown in the trash. And I said, listen, I am not committing to anything, because still, remember, like, I don't want to do Plexus. But I would love to try some samples again. Well, so she sent me the triplex, which is what Jordan and Lane both were talking about. So she sent me 2 months worth of the triplex because she knew we were so broke financially, and because I was so like against it, she sent them to me for free. So this was my plan. I'm going to take this triplex for 2 months. I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 2 months. And then I will never have to say anything about Plexus, and I will be looking really good. Well, that did not happen, which I'm so thankful that did not happen, because that would be called a quick fix, and quick fixes do not last. So while I did not lose 30 pounds in 2 months, I did notice that that tire tube around my belly was starting to get a little bit flatter. I noticed that I was no longer having those 2 p.m. crashes every single day and sitting in front of my television and watching Scandal when I could. I noticed that I just had energy. I was going to the bathroom. Like Jordan said, I remember my husband would go to the bathroom multiple times a day, and I'd be like, oh, he is sick. But then I realized I actually was the sick one, because I was not going every day like I needed to. So there were just some small things I started to notice. And I remember feeling like, if this is what's happened in just 2 months, what the heck is going to happen in 2 more months, in 12 months? Like, how am I going to be feeling? And so it was like this crazy confliction of my heart of, do I go and become one of these crazy Plexus people that I've sworn I would never become? Or do I go back to feeling the way that I'd felt? And I took that decision really, really seriously and spent a full month praying over this. And my husband and I made a pro and con list. Like we took it very seriously, because I knew if I was going to do it, I was going to really do it, because I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to like do something that I swear I would never do and then be like a ho hummer and not make any money and not do a good business and then just quit. I didn't want to do that. And so I felt at peace to move forward with this in January of 2017. Within just a few months, I was doubling what I had been making with my former job. That allowed me to quit that job and stay home with my children, which was a huge desire of my heart, much like Lane's. And then within another couple of months, we went to Emerald, which is the 3rd highest position in the company. And this month, my family is going, I'm going to cry. My family is going for the highest rank within the company. And I am so freaking proud of what we get to do, because we get to change lives. I've lost some weight. I feel good. My husband is healthy. My mom is sleeping. My kids are healthy. I'm hearing people all the time, just like Jordan said, saying, thank you. You helped me get my wife back. Thank you. I'm able to stay home with my children now. And it is so, so worth it. So if you are considering what if this is something that could help me with X, Y, and Z with my health, or what if this is something that could help me to stay home or help my husband not have as much financial stress, I'm telling you, you are in the right place. I can't wait for you to hear my beautiful, sweet friend, Joanna, and her story.
Wow, you guys, these stories, aren't they incredible? I am getting so emotional over here. And this is what we get to hear every day. Stories of lives changed, and it is literally the best job ever. So my story with Plexus started back in 2014. I was a young mom of just one baby, and I was starting to feel pretty hopeless, wondering if this was just my new normal. The chronic fatigue, the crazy mood swings, the digestive issues. I felt nauseated all the time. Like I constantly was sick and tired. It was really starting to affect my marriage, my family life, because I was not able to be there for my family like I needed to be. And so, let me back up a little bit. So I felt like I was pregnant all the time. So I took pregnancy tests, and I wasn't pregnant. And so then I went to the doctor, and he said I was healthy. And so that's when I was starting to feel hopeless. Okay, well, if I'm healthy, like, do I just always have to feel this way? And so a friend of mine, she shared about Plexus on Facebook, and I actually went to her because I was like, you know what? Hey, if it's good enough for her, I'm going to give it a try, because I had been praying for an answer for my health, and I just needed to feel good again. My husband was like, that's not going to work, but you can try it. And so I did try it. And we were actually doing so badly financially at the time. We had a negative bank account twice a month. We were drowning financially. It started with medical debt when my daughter was in the hospital as an infant, turned into credit card debt as we just tried to get by. Like if we needed groceries, we didn't have the money, we put on a credit card. If our tires went out in our car, we needed to put tires on it so my husband could get to work, we put it on a credit card. And so that's just how we were living, like not even paycheck to paycheck because like I said, negative bank account twice a month. And so when I got started with Plexus, I put it on a credit card because I was just, like I said, desperate to feel good again. And I was at the point where I'm like, if I don't feel good, like, what's the point? Like, I need to get my health back. And so I was skeptical because there's so many things out there that claim to be amazing. But at the same time, my friend had tried it and I loved that it was all about getting your body balanced from the inside out. So if people needed to lose weight, gain weight, maintain their weight, that's all a side effect of getting healthy. Because for the most part, I led a healthy lifestyle. I like to work out. I like to cook healthy foods for my family. I did have a crazy sugar craving where I went through like 2 gallons of ice cream every other week, no joke. And so that was definitely part of my problem. But for the most part, like I looked pretty healthy. I tried to eat a healthy, lifestyle and all of that, but I still felt horrible. So I started with our triplex combo. You've been hearing a lot about that. And the first week I felt more energy. And that was really exciting to me because I was constantly tired. I would sleep all night because my daughter was angel baby. She slept all night long. And so I would sleep all night long. And before even putting my feet on the floor in the morning, I felt exhausted, constantly tired, thinking about when I could take a nap, go back to bed. I was 23. So that's crazy. And so the first week I felt more energy. So that was exciting to see. And then month 2, my husband said I was like a new person with my mood swings. They were really bad, you all. And so then he was a believer. And then month 4 is when I really started to see my health completely turning around in incredible ways, just being consistent, drinking my water, taking my products, letting my body have that time to heal, to balance from the inside out. And then I got pregnant with baby number 2, took the products my whole pregnancy, had the most incredible pregnancy ever. Wonderful postpartum journey. I was able to nurse him for 23 months. And when my daughter was a baby, we had to stop at 7 weeks because my milk supply tanked. And then I just had baby number 3 6 months ago. And again, my whole pregnancy, I took the products postpartum. It has been the best gift for all of that. My husband had horrible digestive issues since he was a teenager. And it's completely, it just helped him in the best ways. He works night shift. And so it helps him to have energy and focus that he needs and to sleep good at weird hours. My daughter used to have constipation issues. She doesn't anymore. Like I could go on and on. But like I said, like when I got started, I put on a credit card because I couldn't afford it. And so I knew like I wanted to at least get free products because that way I could be consistent, keep taking them and get healthy. So I grabbed my mom, I grabbed a few friends to get healthier with me. My mom has had 11 kids. She looks amazing, feels amazing. Like she just looks fabulous, you all. And she could go on and on about the products. Or I could go on and on about the products, how they've helped her. And so that was really fun, getting healthier with those I cared about. I got my products for free. And then I was like, you know what if I could make a couple extra $100 a month and help my family out financially? Because I had been praying for an opportunity to work from home at the same time as I was praying for my health issues. And I didn't know that God would bring that answer in the one thing, Plexus. So that was really cool to see over time. And so then I hit that next goal of earning a couple $100 a month. And then I was like, oh my goodness, what if I could earn $500 a month? Like I can't even imagine that. That would be incredible. And then I hit that goal. And then I started to just dream really big and think like, what if this could help my family get out of debt? What if this could help us live life so much fuller, being able to give so much more? And because the thing is, when you are constantly struggling with your finances, well, first of all, it's a stress killer. I mean, a health killer. Stress is a health killer. And finances are so stressful. And that's first thing. But when you are always worried about your finances, how you're going to make ends meet, get by, pay the bills, like you're focused so much on yourself. And I wanted to be able to focus more on other people and giving and not just me and my family. But that's really hard to do when you can't even hardly make ends meet. And my husband is the hardest worker ever, but with his job at the time, it wasn't going to help us get out of debt because of all the debt we had gotten into. And so you all, we are about 2 months away-ish from being completely debt free from all this medical debt, credit card debt. And we, Lord willing, are going to be buying our first home this year, which has been our dream for the longest time. We've lived in apartments since we've had kids. We have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and then the 6-month-old. And we cannot wait for them to have a yard to play in and to just have their place to grow up in. And that's just been such a huge, huge dream for us. And another thing, like we are able, this is crazy. And I don't always like to say this because I don't want it to come across the wrong way, but we are able to give more now in a month than we made in a month before Plexus, which is crazy, you all. And I love all the lives that it touches, and the relationships, everything about it. It has changed so much for our family. And now my husband is a believer. He did say at one point that I would never make it. It's be successful at this. And now he says all the time, like, oh my goodness, I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful that you kept with it and you did this and you are changing things for our family, because it has just helped so much, taking that financial burden off of him as well. And I'm just forever thankful. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Sunny, and she's going to share her story.
Hi, guys. So listening to all of these stories, I just keep remembering all the reasons why I love Plexus so much. It's, I've been with this company since November of 2014. And fun kind of fact, I'm actually in Nashville right now in an Airbnb. We were coming here to meet halfway to see some family we haven't been able to see for a long time. Thanks, COVID. But we came here to hang out. And Nashville is actually where I got started with Plexus. On a whim, much like a time like now with a very low joining fee, I decided to join on a whim on a girls' weekend. And I still remember exactly where I was, the bench, what I was wearing, the people I was sitting next to, what I was drinking. And again, it was one of those this is a moment. And I didn't understand, because when I joined, I was a full-time social worker. I am a social worker, I have my master's degree in social work. I was 25 at the time, not married, no kids, single, living that fun, American dream, literally. Like, I had a job at the VA hospital. I was set with steps and retirement and all the good things, right? Like all the things that they tell you you're supposed to have. And I felt really good about that. I also was paying income-based repayments on my student loans. I had over $60,000 worth of student loans. And so that was kind of looming over me. I thought I would never be able to get out of that debt, at least not until I was 40 something, right? So anyway, all of that, I joined on a whim. I didn't have a big health reason to join Plexus, except for the embarrassing fact that I used to shut the door to my office, set a 5-minute alarm on my phone, and lay my head down on the keyboard because I just could not keep my eyes open 1 second longer right after lunch. If you know, you know. It's a struggle bus, okay? So there I was trying to stay awake. I would go to sleep. I didn't have kids. I didn't have any reason to be that tired, but I was tired. Multiple cups of coffee to get through the day, cups during the afternoon. I had to have it. And so I tried it because I saw my friends talking about how it was amazing. I'm like, well, I'm kind of one of those people that just needs to know because I just need to know. Well, I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what it was all about. There was free joining. I was going to just try it. Okay. Well, then it worked. I woke up within a week of trying just the pink drink, and I woke up and I'm like, I slept last night. I really slept last night. And I didn't have that wake up at 3 a.m., why am I awake thing that sometimes happens. And I now know that has to do with balanced blood sugar. So it all started to click as to why I was feeling better. But from there, I was telling you guys, I had the American dream. I didn't have any reason to really want to work a business. But I thought, because I was drowning in debt, that if I shared, if it worked, I was not going to share unless I legitimately felt like it was going to work for me. And so it started to feel some things. So I started just sharing like I would about anything on social media, and I wound up having people join me. And then I basically begged my mom to try it because I knew she needed gut health help in the worst way, because she had the kind of headaches that you can see in your eyes before you know that you're going to have it, the kind that you have to get into bed and put a pillow over your head because you can't make it through the day. She had those kind of headaches my entire life. I knew them. I knew that kind of life. So once she took those and she didn't have them anymore, how in the world was I supposed to keep that to myself? Because I know so many people suffering with them. How in the world could I keep that to myself? So I started sharing, and before I knew it, I had a business. And I'm a social worker. This is a joke, but kind of serious. I went into social work because I only had to take one math class in college because I do not maths. It is not my thing. I do not business. It is like I took macroeconomics with the easiest professor I could because I knew I wasn't going to pass it any other way. Like my brain is not a business brain, but I love people and I want to help people just like I did when I was a social worker. And so when I was able to retire myself from social work at the age of 26, which I still just cannot wrap my brain around, thank the Lord for my team. I do this because I have an amazing team who love to see people be well and healthy and happy. And so here we are. I was able to retire myself. I was able to pay off over $60,000 worth of student loan debt. I was able to have the wedding of my dreams. I was able to teach for fun at a local university where my husband works. And we were able to teach abroad for a whole semester in London. And I would have never been able to see the world and do all of those things with my 9-to-5 job. It just wasn't going to happen. And so what Plexus has done for me, it has allowed me options. And when people are talking about Plexus, I get that our excitement and our over-the-topness sometimes can be a turnoff. I get it. And I get that it kind of feels like we're selling this miracle cure that's going to make all your problems go away. But I just need you to know that it might not be for you, but what if it is? Just what if it is? We have a 60-day money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we are so excited because we've seen it work so many times. So you just have to ignore our excitement at times and just realize that our heart's in the right place, even if we get a little over the top, okay? We just love people and we want you to have the option to try this too. I tell my friends, if it's not for you, that's fine, but just give it a shot. So anyway, I now have a beautiful 7-month-old baby girl, and I get to stay home with her, and I get to see her life, and I get to see her grow. And something I will tell you that I was scared about with quitting my full-time job, and maybe some of you can relate, I was scared of losing the challenge. I love a challenge of growing and moving and achieving. I didn't lose that when I quit my social work job. I got that when I signed up for Plexus. It's challenging. You get what you put into it. And if you don't want to put anything into it, fine, take the products and love it. But if you do, that challenge is there. And the sky is literally the limit. You can make what you want of this as much or as little as you would like. And I'm here to tell you it's so fun at the top. Okay, so speaking of that, next up is my friend Sally, and we are like what I call her my gala buddy. We get dressed up at our fancy events, and we've sat next to each other for several years. Her husband and my husband get along really well, so we get to chat and be friends. And so she's my gala buddy. But also, you should ask her sometime to sing you some Whitney Houston because she's a boss and she's really good at it. So if we had some extra time, she could belt it for you. But you'll just have to go check out her Instagram and YouTube for that. So take it away, Sally.
Hey guys. All right. So I have been sitting here just absolutely like my heart is just racing because there is so much that I know every single one of us could take probably 2 hours to talk to you about what this has done for us and what we've seen it do for other people and why, if we could take every single person that we knew and shake them and say, why are you not doing this? But I have 5 minutes. So I'm going to start with 2 things. Your journey matters. Your story matters. And the reason I say that is because nothing was really wrong with me. Like nothing was actually wrong with me. But I felt so down on myself. I felt like I was lazy. I was believing all of these lies about who I was because how I felt. And if that is the case, like if that's what we're doing, how fruitful are we in our lives, whether that's within our homes, whether that's to our neighbors or in our churches or in your workplace. How you feel and how your body feels absolutely affects your actions and your attitude and how you can be a light to other people. And so your story matters. I could have gone to the doctor and they would have said you're perfectly healthy. But I felt like a lazy bum who couldn't get out of bed, who never wanted to play with my kids, who couldn't eat any food that I wanted to eat. Who knows why? Because my whole family has IBS. Like all of these ridiculous things that were just normal to me that are absolutely not normal and do not have to be a part of my story. And they are not anymore, thank the Lord. But your journey matters. So maybe you've got someone who you're like, yeah, well, I can see why they did great in the business, or I can see why people listen to them because they had all these health changes, or they had all of this going for them, or I just started and I don't even have a story. So why would I even pursue this? I'm telling you that just as in your gospel transformation or in your hardships that you've gone through in your life, like your story matters because it is going to reach at least one person. And if that's even all that it took, like that life matters. So your journey matters. And then the second thing I want to say is that God will equip you to accomplish the good works that he has set out for you to do. Y'all, a big part of my story is that I was a flake. Like I love to do all kind of different things. And I was like, I'm just a Renaissance woman. Like I have all these talents and these giftings and I love to do this. I'm gonna bake cookies. I'm gonna do these things, but I never stuck with anything. And a lot of that has to do with fear of probably failure or responsibility of like actually going forward with something. But I will tell you that God will equip you for the good work that he actually has set out for you to do, because Sunny, you're so hilarious with like the Whitney Houston thing. But like I have had people tell me my whole life, like, oh, you should be on American Idol or you should go be famous. But guess what? Thanks. But that's not what God had for me. That is not the good work that he had set out for me to do. So sometimes we're believing lies about ourselves that are good lies and like flattery and all of these things. And we're like, God's like, man, I have something that is so out of the box and you're just like missing it. And it's over here and it's in this thing that you don't even want anything to do with. But that's where I'm going to use you. That's where I'm going to have your impact. And that's where you're going to change the kingdom and people's lives for the better. It was really weird because I actually met my sponsor while she was on a short-term mission trip in Africa. We lived there full time and I maybe saw her for 13 hours or less that entire trip that she was on because we were leading a different trip. And so Facebook can be a vessel. I could get on a soapbox and talk about like all the haters of social media. You know what? It is what you use it for. Like use it for good and the Lord will absolutely use it to bless other people. And that's what happened. That's how I found Plexus. I'm sure that's how most of you found Plexus, on Facebook. And I just felt like a crappy mom. I felt horrible and I was like, I'm not going to go to the gym. So find something for me. We had just come back home from living in Africa for 2.5 years. And I did not want our life to turn upside down. We knew that God called us here for worship ministry. We didn't know what it was. We have just like the last 8 years probably of our marriage have just resigned to the fact that the Lord knows our plans and we don't, and we're cool with that. But still, like I got used to ministering and being with my husband all the time. I got used to my baby that I had while I was there being with me all the time. And I did not want to have to give those things up that were so precious, and how our family really functioned well because we were having to move back to America and nobody was going to fundraise and support raise for us to live here anymore. And so I'm like, we have to make money. Like he's going to have to find a job. So he starts working out part-time at Chick-fil-A. So we had zero income. And I know some of you may have started in that place where like we had nothing. We literally had no income. And I probably had no business buying these products in, everyone's eyes. But at the same time, like I knew I needed something to be a better me. And I had hope and I had just prayed about it, trust the Lord that this was something that he had. So I had a lot of health issues. We're not going to go there. That's for another story. But all of the things that I was dealing with, tension headaches, IBS, you name it, like within weeks, I was no longer dealing with. And so my husband was like, okay, well, if this is working for you, maybe it'll work for other people too, maybe. And so testimony after testimony, I just saw this vision of this is so much more than just me waking up. Like this is about everybody waking up. Like literally getting their lives back. I have people, and I know you do too, that are sick and tired and they miss out on so much, you know, whether it's sitting in a dark closet and can't go play with their kids, or missing church, or, you know, having to skip work, or whatever it is, like missing out on their life because of how they feel. And that's not okay. Like, that is absolutely a tool of the enemy to keep you stuck in where you are and believing that this is just as good as it gets. And this is what the hand that you've been dealt. And it's just not true. And so I had this like passion come over me, and I'm just like, man, we can use this to equip the saints with able bodies and clear minds and like hearts that are able to love other people, because we're not so dang focused on ourselves. When you are struggling with these things and you're like prideful and not like, oh, well, you know, I can handle this, or like, well, you're stuck in your house anxious. How are you loving anybody else? Right? Like, how are you being fruitful in those moments? Like, get well so that you can love other people, right? Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is, I'm going to take care of myself so I can take care and do what God's called me to do here. And so for all of you families who are in ministry out there, I just want to talk to you for a second. I had that thought, you know, when I came back from being a missionary, like that's kind of like pedestal, you know, people put you on a pedestal, like, oh, you lived overseas, you lived in Africa. Yeah, we did. So how do you go from that, or from being a pastor or a pastor's wife, or, you know, worship leader's wife, to selling something on Facebook? Because that's what I thought people would think, like, oh man, yeah, she was a missionary and now she's selling stuff on Facebook, you know, way to go. And I will tell you, and I will literally preach it from the rooftops, and I do very often, that this has become and is a growing and bigger ministry than what I was able to accomplish overseas. Not that that ministry is not fruitful and doing amazing, but that wasn't where God had my impact. This is. And for this season, it is growing like crazy because it is making a difference in people's lives, and because they're growing into who called them to be. And that just spreads. It is a beautiful thing to watch. The other thing that I love about this is that this company and this business is never selfish, because our impact that we're making on people's health and on their finances, yes, it gives us income, but it also continues to create a greater impact. And so we never make any money that is not associated with someone who is absolutely having a life-changing experience and loving what they're a part of. And I'm so appreciative of that, because it's something that I can be proud of. We talk a lot about the health side of things, because honestly, that's what draws most of us to these products, because they're amazing. But we hear time and time again that statistically, you guys are not staying up at night worried about yourself. You're worried about paying your bills. You're worried about paying for your groceries. You're worried about if college is even going to be an option for your kids, and if scholarships are going to be available, right? Like, these are the things that actually stress out our marriages, and all these horrible things that happen with arguments and stuff. Like, that is also a huge way we get to impact people. And that I have seen in our life, that we have followed down this path, and we you know, went outside the box maybe, and we just decided to be the ones who go out on the limb for other people. And the provision that it has brought our family as a ministry family has allowed us to actually follow where the Lord leads. So many people are stuck in a dying church, or in a place where they do not even agree theologically or feel called to be, or that is like stressful, and they're getting pulled on in all of these different ways because they have to pay the bills. So you're actually settling not in that place. And so I just want to ask you guys tonight, what is holding you back? Maybe you just started, maybe you haven't joined yet, or maybe you've been doing this for a long time and you just haven't really gone all the way in. I think we can be honest and say that 9 times out of 10, it's got something to do with pride or fear. And I'm just going to tell you that the Lord does not deal in those things. He just doesn't. So whether you are being held back from pride or fear or whatever it might be, that's affecting your fruitfulness. That's affecting your joy, your energy, your ability to love others well, to give, to go where God calls you, to live out your giftings. Like, you are all, each and every one, so handcrafted and gifted and talented in so many ways. And God wants to use those things to impact others in your life. And this is absolutely an avenue to do that. So maybe it's not about you at all. You know, maybe you can be blessed by this, but maybe your job is to be a vessel to bless other people and to connect other people to something that absolutely could change everything for their family and their health or in their finances. So step outside of yourself and take a chance on this opportunity, because the Lord is guiding our steps. And I'm speaking from this because I know these ladies on here love the Lord as well, but it truly is such a big part of it, because if you follow Christ, nothing you do is apart from what he has for you. Like nothing you do is apart from his hand. And so this is part of that for us. This is part of our impact in the kingdom, and for people that we love and people that we are now so blessed to know that we love. So I just want to encourage you tonight. Talk to the person who invited you to this event. Freedom isn't just about fancy cars and about trips and all of these fun things that you might see us do. And we're about to be Diamond too. I mean, like, holy crap, I can't believe it. But it's not even about all of that stuff. That is just icing on this big, beautiful cake. But it truly is about the freedoms that this represents for my family and for every family that's on my team in small ways that are huge to them. Paying for a car, paying for your mortgage, not fighting about money, being able to see your husband take less hours so he can spend time with the kids, being able to quit your job so you can spend more time with your kids, whatever it is. Step out and be free. We love you guys, and we just want to remind you to reach out to your sponsor. Let them know what you took away from tonight so that they can get you plugged into our cash drawings. And we're just so grateful that you spent time with us, and we hope that you will pray about this, but just step out in faith and know that this is going to change not just your life, but so many others that will follow suit. Good night, guys.